Gupta 18BIT0330. So this is my video for our lab CAT which took place today, that is on 12th October. I got the batch A and now I'll start with showing the batch experiments first, followed by Cisco packet tracer. For the first experiment, which was XSS attacks on the demo.testfire.net website, I'll just open it over here. So they had a search box on the right hand side where you just needed to put a script tag and you get the response needed. After getting that, it also redirected me to W3 schools. So that's about it for the first experiment. For the second one, we had to scan the debugging level and determine the overall sending rate of the website leadtime.net. So I used Nmap for this. For Nmap, I just used the command nmap-d and the website name. So it started Nmap on my terminal and it created a timing report. It created it gave out all the data needed, and then the overall sending rates, which is part 2 of the question, was returned over here, which used the DNS of the given website, and finally it gave us the result we needed. Moving on to the third question, which is the Wireshark question. So first what I did was I went and did ping vit.ac.in and I got this IP address of VIT, that is 136.233.9.13. Then I used these filters over here, which was required: TCP port 443, that is for HTTPS requests, and the IP address itself of VIT, and I sorted the data in collected through this. Moving on, coming to the coloring rules, you just go there, go to select TCP, choose a color, say green color over here. You can choose this over here as well, and then apply as filter. There's a small bug with Wireshark on Mac OS's latest version, so it doesn't apply and the screen freezes after this, so I can't apply or click OK after this. But that is basically how you will change the color of all the TCP requests. Double click it, choose the color needed, and continue. That's it for the batch A questions. Now I'll move on to the Cisco packet tracer question. The packet tracer and explain in detail each step which I did and why how it's working. So first I took up 3 routers from here, and we generally choose the 2811 router, but for this we chose 2620XM. Then you add 3 switches, which is from here, and again we generally choose these switches, which is 2950T, but since we use the 2620 XM on top, we're going to be choosing 295024. Then we add laptops because that was required in the question instead of PCs, which we generally use, and I renamed the first one to my registration number, which is 18BIT0330, and I renamed the last laptop to my first name as asked in the question. Then I went on to connect the routers with the switches and switches with the laptops, and hence indirectly connecting everything while also connecting the routers with other routers. So to connect the routers with other routers, I use this serial DTE wire. I just click on this, shows serial 00, as you can see in the whole place. So it goes from this, connects it to serial 00 of this, and the serial 01 of this connects to the serial 00 of the other router. So this way all 3 routers are connected now. Then we move on and use the copper straight through wire, which is the third wire. We click on this, choose the next port, click on this, switch again. Then again we use the same wire to connect the switches with the laptops. Again choose the next available port, connected to this, choose the next available port, connected to this. Similarly, the same procedure was repeated to connect this the second router with the switch, and the next switches with the PCs, and same for the third set. Now after this, it's time to actually configure the laptops with the IP addresses and the routers with the respective gateways as well as IP addresses, while also checking the CLI. So now I'll move on to the first laptop's configuration. I just click on it. Oh, before that, just a second. So before that, we need to put the WIC1T adapter onto the first first router. So you turn that off, you insert it over here, then you turn it on again. Similarly, you go on to router 2. Over here there's a catch. Since there are two serial ports used, you're going to put two routers over here. So again, you take the WIC1T adapter, put it up here after turning it off, then you again put it up over here, so both the adapters are filled, and then you can turn it on again. So this router and this router are done. Now moving on to the third router. Again, we're going to follow the same procedure. Turn it off, put the adapter, turn it on. So the three adapters are now on. Now as mentioned, I'll go to the laptop. In the laptop, I go to config, and it opens global settings by default. So first we fill all the global settings. As you can see, I had put the first laptop's name as 18BIT0330, so that is the display name over here. I choose the custom gateway, that is 192.168.1.1. Then I move on to the fast Ethernet 0, since I'd use this to connect the switch with this. Over here I use the static IP address which I want to put in, which is 192.168.1.2, and a subnet mask which is 255.255.255.0 is automatically created. Like as soon as you type anything over here, it automatically appears over here. So that's about it for the first laptop. Moving on, again I go to config. Over here, if you check, the gateway is the same as the first laptop because both are connected to the same switch, and then this switch breaks down into two laptops. So the gateway is going to be the same for both. Now moving on to the fast Ethernet. Over here, last time I had put 192.168.1.2, but every PC has a different IP address. So over here I've put 1.3, and again the subnet mask is automatically generated. Once you're done with this, oh, as I forgot to mention, in the previous laptop as well, and in every laptop you need to turn on the port status as on over here after you add all the IP addresses, etc. So it'll show on like this. Similarly, you go to laptop 2, in laptop 1 in the next switch rather, again in the global settings, but this time you'll notice the gateway is different. Last time it was 192.168.1.1, now it is 192.168.2.1. so it changed from 1 to 2. So the next laptop will also have 2.1 only, because again 2 per switch. Now the fast Ethernet, the IP address in this is also different. If you check, the first one had 1.2, over here it says 2.2, and then after entering this, again I turn it on. So similarly we repeat the same procedure, and these two laptops will have the same gateway, that is 3.1 as I have labeled over here, and this will have the IP address 192.164.4.2, and this will have 4.3. So just a small recap. We put the laptops as 1.2, 1.3, 2.2, 2.3, 4.2 and 4.3, preceded by 192.168 point whatever. And for the routers to the switches, we have labeled this because the gateway is going to be the same for these two laptops, so they have the same default gateway while setting it up as well. Now once you connect those, now we come to the router configuration. This is the most important and tricky part. So over here you can see the equivalent iOS commands over here below. As you keep doing something, it'll keep changing, but for now we don't need all that. We directly come to serial 00. In serial 00 we enter 11.0.0.1, which is this router's IP address. So as you can see, I've labeled it over here 11.0.0.1, that is this IP address. And again, the subnet mask has to be typed 255.0.0.0. Then we go to then we turn it on. It's just like how you turned on the laptop's port. Then you go to fast Ethernet. You type in this IP address, which is the default gateway address we had put below. Over here, since the subnet mask was auto generated as 255.255.255.0 for all the default gateways, we are going to use that as a subnet mask over here, and we have typed it and turned it on. After this, we move on to the static part. First, I had actually configured the serial port and fast Ethernet port, and then come to the static part. But for the ease of explanation, I'm going to do it first and just show the next route after. So again, we entered the networks 192.168.2.0 over here. We put different masks, the next hop depending on what is required, and we added them over here. So as you can see, after you enter anything and you click on add, that gets added and enabled, and that allows it to work. I can also show you the CLI, where you can see the execution mode and all the required modes for thing if you were using the CLI. But we use the UI part in the config because that is much easier than actually typing the code. Now ending that router, I'll move on to the next router. This router is more challenging because there are 2 serial ports and 1 fast Ethernet port along with the static part. So we need to configure all separately. So over here, if you remember, I had put 11.0.0.1 in the previous one, so I'm going to put 2 now, and the subnet mask is going to be the same. Moving on to serial port 1, I've done the same thing as before, and I've put this subnet mask 255.0.0.0. and moving on to the fast Ethernet port, I've moved on. Like before it was 1.1, now it's gone 2.1, and the subnet mask is the same as the ones we got below because this is getting divided. Now moving on to the static part, again we added the network address, we added the mask, we added the next hop, and that all comes over here after you add them. The CLI for the execution mode, I can't zoom in to show, but you can see the router config and everything over here. Now we'll go to the final router, and again this time we have only one because there's only one router connected to it. The middle one had 2 routers connected, that's why it had 2 serial ports and 1 fast Ethernet port. Now again we enter the next required value, then we enter the subnet mask over here, and we turn it on. Then we go to fast Ethernet. In the fast Ethernet, we again enter the third gateway's IP address, then we enter the subnet mask, we turn the port on and go to the final static route. In the static, again we enter the network mask, next hop, add it, and we are good to go. It takes a few minutes for everything to work. It shows orange while it is configuring. Once it's configured, everything shows green. That is the first step to know that okay, you're going the right way. Once you have done that, choose this message icon, click it over here till say here. I'll just open up this, so you can see it was successfully sent. It was sent from source, that is 18BIT till laptop 1, these 2 laptops. Now I'll take it from here to the next gateway. It's in progress. It failed. It's okay, it keeps failing if it's not used for a long time. Just send it again and it's successful. So that's a packet tracer bug. You can send it to the same one again, it takes progress. If you have not sent it from one laptop to another, it fails, but once it has been sent, you can send it, and you can send it multiple times, and like again I'll send it, again it succeeded. See, there are 2 successfuls continuously. Now I'm just going to delete this so you can see the main part. Laptop 18BIT0330 to laptop Akshat. So this was successful. It took just a second or even lesser. Now I'll send it from Akshat to 18BIT. Again, this was successful, as you can see over here, and this shows that a connection is successfully working. I hope you like the video and my presentation for our lab CAT. Thank you.